Success is built on discipline. It's not just about what you choose to do, but also about what you avoid. I've seen this consistently with the high achievers I've worked with and learned from over the years. It's not just their good habits, but also their ability to say no to distractions, poor choices, and excuses. That's where the key to success lies. Here's what I want you to understand. Success isn't just for the lucky or the naturally talented. It's available to anyone who is ready to follow the right principles. But here's the challenge. Success requires both focus and clarity. It means choosing what to pursue, but just as importantly, what to avoid. Successful people don't waste time on things that won't help them move forward. They focus their energy on what matters and avoid behaviors that hold them back. Tonight, I'm not going to focus on what successful people do, since that's a common topic. What's less discussed, but just as important, is what successful people don't do. The mistakes they avoid, the traps they recognize, and the time-wasting activities they reject. These things are just as crucial, if not more, than the habits they develop. Success is about what you eliminate as much as what you add. Think about your own life as we go through this. Be honest. Are there habits or choices that are slowing you down? The first step is awareness. You can't fix something you don't face. And once you face it, you can change it. We'll go over 10 things successful people never do, 12 things they avoid or eliminate. As we discuss each one, think about your own experiences. Are you guilty of any of these? Are you ready to change? When you stop doing these things, you open up space for more important things. The first thing successful people never do, they don't let fear control them. Fear is one of the first things successful people learn not to let take over their decisions. We all experience fear, but the key is not allowing it to dictate our actions. Successful people don't ignore fear. They confront it, but they don't let it steer them. Fear is not something to avoid. It's a sign that you're moving towards something important. Think about it. How often has fear stopped you from doing something? Maybe you had an idea, but then fear made you hesitate. What if I fail? What if I look foolish? That voice can stop most people in their tracks, but successful people push past it. They understand that fear is temporary, but regret lasts forever. And just to clarify, it's not about being fearless. No one is fearless. Even the most successful individuals experience fear, but they've learned to take action despite it. This is what courage is. It's not the absence of fear, but continuing to move forward even when fear is present. What's remarkable about courage is that the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Each time you push forward, despite feeling afraid, you weaken the hold fear has on you. And when fear strikes, break it down and ask yourself what you're truly afraid of. Is it failure, judgment, or the unknown? Once you identify the fear, it becomes easier to manage. Then take action, no matter how small, because action is the antidote to fear. It's like flipping a switch in a dark room. The fear may still be there, but it no longer paralyzes you. At its core, fear is simply a thought, a projection of what could go wrong. But what if you change that thought? Instead of asking what happens if you fail, ask yourself, what if I succeed? Successful people make this shift. They focus on the opportunities rather than the obstacles, the rewards instead of the risks. It's not about ignoring failure, but refusing to let it dictate your choices. Ask yourself, what fear has been holding you back? Be honest with yourself. Write it down if necessary. Then determine the first step you can take today to confront that fear. The truth is, fear only has the power you give it. Once you face it directly, it loses its strength. Successful people understand this and refuse to let fear control them. They know fear is part of the journey, not the destination. It's a challenge to overcome, not a reason to quit. Moving through fear leads to growth, confidence, and the life you were meant to live. In addition to handling fear, successful people have also learned to reject excuses. Excuses are tempting. They provide an easy way out, explaining failures or justifying why things didn't work out. Successful people don't buy into excuses. They outright reject them. While excuses may feel comforting in the moment, they are ultimately destructive. Every excuse you make strips away your power. When you blame circumstances, other people, or bad luck, You're saying you have no control, and that's the quickest way to lose momentum. Successful people, on the other hand, take full responsibility for their actions and outcomes. Even when things go wrong, they reflect on what they could have done differently. They focus on what is within their control. This shift in mindset is crucial. Excuses waste time. Think about it. How much energy is spent just justifying why something didn't happen? That energy could be better spent finding solutions, fixing the problem, or taking the next step. Excuses keep you stuck in the past, rehashing what went wrong, rather than focusing on what comes next. There's another aspect to this. Excuses can become a habit. The more you rely on them, the easier it becomes to fall back on them. But successful people break this habit early on. They train themselves to replace excuses with action. If something doesn't go as planned, they don't waste time pointing fingers. They get to work on finding a solution. Successful people constantly ask themselves what the next step is and how they can adjust their course when necessary. When this mindset ensures they continue moving forward no matter what obstacles arise. Here's a tough question you must ask yourself at some point. Have you been making excuses in your life? Be honest with yourself. Whatever it is, challenge it. Ask yourself if the excuse is truly valid or if it's simply fear in disguise. Often, excuses are a way to avoid discomfort, risk, or effort. Successful people don't allow the excuses of others to derail them. They surround themselves with people who take ownership, who inspire and challenge them. If they're around someone who constantly makes excuses, they don't absorb that energy. They set boundaries and stay focused on their own path. So how can you eliminate excuses from your life? It starts with awareness. Pay attention to the language you use. Are you saying things like, I can't because of this, or if only I had that? Those are red flags. The next step is to flip the script. Instead of saying, I can't, ask yourself, how can I? Instead of focusing on obstacles, focus on solutions. This simple shift is incredibly powerful. Remember, excuses might explain why you're not where you want to be, but they'll never get you where you want to go. Taking responsibility puts you back in control. It gives you the power to change, to grow, and to move forward. This is exactly what successful people do. They own their journey every step of the way. Now, the third thing successful people never do, they never lose focus. Focus is the cornerstone of progress. And successful people understand this deeply. They know their time, energy, and attention are limited resources, and they protect them fiercely. They don't let themselves get pulled in different directions. Instead, they prioritize what matters most and focus on it with relentless determination. How often do you find yourself starting one task only to jump to another before finishing the first? Maybe you're working on a goal, but a phone call or another idea distracts you. This is normal, but it's one of the biggest obstacles to success. Every time you lose focus, you lose momentum, and momentum is what turns small efforts into big results. The secret is focus. Successful people choose their priorities carefully. Once they make a choice, they commit. They say no to distractions, even good opportunities, because they know that not everything deserves their attention. They don't confuse being busy with being productive. They understand that real progress comes from concentrated effort on the things that truly matter. The key is to watch out for distractions. They're everywhere. Distractions are everywhere. They come in the form of interruptions, urgent but unimportant tasks, or even your own wandering thoughts. Successful people don't let these distractions derail them. They've learned to say no to both others and themselves. They establish clear boundaries, schedule time for deep focus, and protect that time as if their success. Another crucial practice of successful people is creating clarity. Focus is impossible without knowing exactly what you're aiming for. That's why successful individuals define their goals with precision. Instead of vaguely wanting success or more money, they set specific, measurable targets and break them down into actionable steps. When you are clear about what you want, staying focused becomes significantly easier. Multitasking is another common trap. Although it may feel productive, it actually reduces efficiency and increases mistakes. Successful people understand this and focus on one task at a time, giving it their full attention before moving on to the next. This approach helps them produce high-quality work while maintaining momentum. However, focus isn't just about cutting out distractions. It's also about managing energy. Successful people know that focus requires stamina, and stamina is fueled by self-care. They don't burn the candle at both ends. They take care of their health, ensure they get enough rest, and build routines that support sustained focus. A tired mind is a distracted mind, so they make conscious choices. Ask yourself, what's currently pulling at your attention? Is it something that truly matters, or is it a distraction in disguise? Are you saying yes to things that don't align with your goals? If so, it's time to reevaluate. Start by identifying your top priorities, those few things that will have the biggest impact on your success, and eliminate or delegate everything else. Remember, focus isn't about doing more. It's about doing less, but doing it better. It's about choosing quality over quantity, depth over breadth. This is how successful people make consistent progress. They stay locked in on what matters and stay committed day in and day out, knowing the results will follow. The fourth thing successful people never do, they never dwell on the past. While the past is a powerful teacher, successful individuals understand that it's not a place to live. Whether it's a painful failure or a victory that makes them too comfortable, they don't allow the past to define their present or dictate their future. They treat the past as a lesson, a chapter that's already been written, not as a script they're bound to repeat. Consider this. How often do we replay the same memories wishing we could go back and change something? Maybe it's a missed opportunity or a mistake that still haunts us. Alternatively, some people hold on to past success, clinging to achievements from years ago and using them as a reason to stop striving. Both are traps that successful people avoid. Let's be clear. Successful people don't ignore the past. They reflect on it, learn from it, but they don't linger there. They don't let the past weigh them down like an anchor. Instead, they use it as a compass, letting the lessons guide their next steps. The difference lies in mindset. Instead of saying, I can't because I failed, they say, I learned because I failed. Dwelling on the past isn't limited to mistakes. Sometimes it's about clinging to past success. You may know people who still talk about achievements from 10, 20, or 30 years ago, as if their lives were paused in that one moment of glory. But successful people know that yesterday's victories don't guarantee tomorrow's progress. They remain hungry for more, always pushing forward. Successful people celebrate their wins, but then they quickly move on to the next challenge. They say that the standard has to change, but then they quickly move on to the next challenge. So I ask you, are you holding on to something from the past that is holding you back? Whatever it may be, ask yourself, is this helping me or is it keeping me stuck? The longer you hold on to the past, the less space you have for the future. Successful people understand that letting go of the past often involves forgiveness both of others and of themselves. They don't continue to punish themselves for past mistakes. They learn from them, make amends if necessary, and move forward. Self-forgiveness is not about letting yourself off the hook. It's about freeing yourself to grow. Letting go of the past also means shifting your focus to the present. The present is the only moment where you have true power. It's where decisions are made, actions are taken, and progress happens. Successful people stay rooted in the present, using the lessons from the past to make better choices today. They're too busy creating new memories to get stuck replaying old ones. Successful people avoid these traps. They don't indulge in blame games or gossip because they know that negativity only breeds more negativity. They choose to engage in conversations that uplift, inspire, and challenge them to think bigger. One of the most damaging forms of negativity is internal. It's the negative self-talk, the voice that says you're not good enough or that things will never work out. Successful people are vigilant in managing their inner dialogue. When negative thoughts arise, they challenge them. They don't let those thoughts spiral into limiting beliefs. Instead, they replace them with affirmations of possibility. They train their minds to focus on their strengths, progress, and potential. Here's a question to reflect on. How do you handle negativity when it shows up in your life? Do you let it take over, or do you address it and move on? Successful people have developed the habit of reframing negative situations. When something goes wrong, they don't ask, why me? They ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? This simple shift in perspective transforms negativity into an opportunity for growth. Take a moment to assess your life. Where is negativity showing up? Is it in your environment, your relationships, or your own thoughts? Identify it, confront it, and replace it with something positive. Remember, negativity may knock on your door, but you don't have to let it in. Successful people know this, and it's one of the reasons they stay focused and energized. Lastly, successful people never compare themselves to others. Comparing yourself to others is one of the most toxic habits you can develop. And successful people simply don't engage in it. They understand that comparison is a thief. It steals your joy, your confidence, and your focus. Instead of comparing, they concentrate on their own journey, their own progress, and their own goals. They know that the only person they're competing with is the person they were yesterday. Let's face it, the temptation to compare ourselves to others is everywhere. We see someone succeeding in an area where we're struggling, and it stirs up feelings of inadequacy. We wonder, why are they so far ahead, or what am I doing wrong? But here's the truth, comparison gives you an incomplete picture. What you see is someone else's highlight reel, not the behind-the-scenes struggles. Successful people know this and refuse to let these surface-level comparisons distract them from their purpose. Everyone's journey is unique. Some find their stride early, while others take longer to find their footing. What matters isn't how quickly you get there, it's that you keep moving forward. Comparing your progress to someone else's is like running a marathon and worrying about the person in the next lane. It's a distraction that slows you down. But there's a deeper issue with comparison. It often comes from a scarcity mindset, the belief that someone else's success takes away from your own. Successful people live with an abundance mindset. They know there is plenty of opportunity to go around. Just because someone else is winning doesn't mean you're losing. In fact, they celebrate others' success because it proves what's possible. If someone else can do it, so can you. Have you ever caught yourself feeling envious of someone else's success? It's natural to feel that way sometimes, but the key is to use that feeling as fuel, not as a roadblock. Instead of letting envy discourage you, let it inspire you. Ask yourself, what can I learn from their success? How can I apply their strategies to my own journey? Another reason successful people avoid comparison is because it wastes valuable time and energy. And every minute spent worrying about someone else's achievements is a minute you're not using work on your own. Successful people are laser focused on their goals. They're too busy creating, building, and growing to waste time comparing. When you tie your self-worth to how you measure up against others, you set yourself up for an emotional roller coaster. If you're ahead, you feel great. If you're behind, you feel terrible. But successful people don't let external comparisons dictate their self-worth. They measure themselves against their own potential, values, and progress. That's the only comparison that truly matters. Here's what you can do the next time you catch yourself comparing. Pause and redirect your focus. Ask yourself, what am I proud of in my own journey? What progress have I made? Write it down. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small they might seem. When you shift your focus to gratitude and self-reflection, comparison loses its power. Remember, success isn't a race. It's a personal journey, and the only way to win is to stay true to your own path. Successful people know this, which is why they invest their energy in growth rather than comparison. Avoid the trap of comparison. Now, let's talk about another crucial lesson: never let your emotions control you. Emotional control is a skill that successful people master. They understand that while emotions can be powerful drivers, if left unchecked, they can derail progress. Successful people never let their emotions dictate their decisions or actions. Instead, they learn to manage their feelings in a way that keeps them moving forward. Emotions are natural. We all feel anger, frustration, disappointment, and doubt from time to time. But here's the difference. Successful people don't let those feelings linger. They don't let a bad moment turn into a bad day or a bad decision. They train themselves to step back, assess the situation, and respond instead of react. One of the best ways to manage emotions is to create space between the stimulus, the thing that triggers your emotions, and your response. When something triggers a strong emotional reaction, take a moment to breathe, reflect, and ask yourself a few key questions. What's really going on here? Is this worth your energy? How can you respond in a way that aligns with your goals? That brief pause can make all the difference. It shifts you from being reactive to being intentional. Successful people are resilient. They don't let setbacks or failures crush their spirit. Instead, they use those experiences as fuel to keep going. Resilience is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. One of the best ways to build resilience is by changing how you view challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles, successful people see opportunities to grow, learn, and improve. How do you typically respond when things don't go your way? Do you let frustration take over, or do you pause and regroup? If you find yourself getting caught up in negative emotions, take a step back and remind yourself of the bigger picture. Successful people don't let temporary emotions distract them from their long-term vision. They stay focused on what really matters. Emotions are contagious. If you let your frustration show, it can spread to those around you, your team, your family, your colleagues. Successful people are mindful of the energy they bring into a situation. They lead with calmness, clarity, and confidence, even when things are tough. This kind of emotional control inspires trust and respect, which is essential for building strong relationships. Controlling your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. Successful people don't bottle up their feelings or pretend they don't exist. They acknowledge their emotions, process them, and channel them in productive ways. Emotions are information, and successful people use that information to make better decisions. Here's a simple practice you can try the next time you feel a strong emotion rising. Pause and name it. Tell yourself you're feeling frustrated, anxious, or angry. Naming the emotion helps you separate yourself from it. Then ask yourself what the best way to handle it would be. This practice can transform how you respond to challenges and ultimately help you stay in control. Successful people know that emotions are a part of life, but they don't allow them to control their lives. They've learned how to master their emotions so that their emotions don't master them. This is why they can navigate tough situations with grace, staying focused on their goals despite the challenges. Emotional control is critical to their success. They respond thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively, ensuring that their feelings don't derail their progress. How often do you find yourself asking where the day went or feeling like you didn't have enough time to get everything done? The truth is, it's not about how much time you have, it's about how you use it. Successful people don't have more hours in the day than anyone else, but they make those hours count. They prioritize, plan, and focus on what matters most. One key way successful people avoid wasting time is by saying no. They don't feel obligated to say yes to every request, invitation, or opportunity that comes their way. They're selective with their time because they understand that every yes comes with a cost. If they say yes to something that doesn't align with their goals, they're saying no to something that does. That clarity allows them to focus on what truly matters. They also don't wait for the perfect moment to take action. They understand that procrastination is simply another form of delay. Instead of waiting for the ideal conditions, they take small steps to keep moving forward. Momentum is built through consistent movement, not waiting for the right moment to appear. Perfectionism is another trap many fall into, but successful people know how to avoid it. Striving for excellence is one thing, but perfectionism can paralyze you, keeping you stuck in a loop of tweaking and revising without ever completing anything. Successful people don't strive for perfection. They focus on progress. They get the work done, learn from it, and improve as they go. Ask yourself, how much of your time is spent on activities that truly matter? Are you prioritizing tasks that bring you closer to your goals, or are you getting sidetracked by distractions, interruptions, or low-value tasks? Successful people regularly reflect on how they're spending their time. They identify what's working, what's not, and make adjustments to stay on track. They also respect their time by eliminating distractions. They set clear boundaries, guarding their time like the valuable resource it is. If something doesn't serve their goals or well-being, they let it go. So, to help ensure you're using your time wisely, take 5 minutes at the end of each day to reflect on how you spent it. Did your actions align with your priorities? If not, what adjustments can you make tomorrow? Over time, this simple practice will help you become more intentional and effective in how you use your time. Successful people know that time is their most valuable currency. They invest it wisely, achieving more in a day than most people accomplish in a week. They never let time slip away unnoticed. Now, if I sound like a broken record, it's because this next point is crucial. Never surround yourself with toxic influences. Successful people are very intentional about the company they keep. They understand the profound impact that people around them have on their mindset, energy, and direction. This is why they avoid toxic influences at all costs. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This means that the people you surround yourself with can either elevate you or hold you back. Successful people choose their inner circle carefully. They seek out individuals who inspire them, challenge them, and support their growth. Toxic influences, on the other hand, can drain your energy, distract you from your goals, and even lead you to question your own potential. Successful people know this, so they make sure their environment is filled with people who encourage them to grow and succeed. You can do the same by assessing the relationships in your life. Are they serving your growth or holding you back? Cut ties with negativity and surround yourself with people who inspire and challenge you to reach your full potential. This is one of the most important choices you can make on your path to success. Successful people know that the attitudes, habits, and mindsets of the people around you rub off over time. If you're constantly surrounded by people who complain, gossip, or wallow in self-pity, it's only a matter of time before their negativity affects your mindset. Successful people are intentional about the company they keep. They make a conscious effort to surround themselves with individuals who uplift, inspire, and challenge them to grow. Toxic influences aren't